They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
All right, guys. Just because it's the All-Star break, I know we are not having the Rising Stars game. I know that that's a game that I actually really enjoy watching every year. So I figured maybe it's a good idea to go through and talk about some of these players that are 21, 20, 19 years old. Talk about what they've been able to do so far this season, what we think that their overall ceiling is. Because we know with these younger players in fantasy basketball, what is so nice about investing into them and getting them on your team is that when you're in your fantasy basketball playoffs, you're not going to have to worry about them sitting games. I mean, you know that if they are healthy, they are going to be out there. They're going to be seeing a decent amount of minutes because A, teams want to develop their young talent, and B, because their bodies should be able to handle it. They should be able to go out there, play back-to-backs, see 30-plus minutes every single night. So yeah, these guys are fun to target. They're fun to talk about. And yeah, that's it for the introduction, other than making sure you're going down there, dropping a like, leaving a comment, subscribing to the channel. We just passed 3,000 subscribers. So I owe all of y'all a massive, massive thank you, especially everybody who has been coming out to Premier Game. Now, thank y'all for everyone who has their notifications on for the channel, comes out, chats with me. I can answer your questions. We can just talk about life. But yeah, I've been having a ton of fun talking fantasy basketball with y'all, and we are going to continue to do that every single day. All right, well, that should be it. Let's go in and let's pull up our first player. And this is going to be Tyler Herro, who is only 21 years old. And yes, Tyler Herro was a player that I was avoiding coming into the season because we understand how sample sizes work. We go, okay. I mean, everybody saw his bubble playoff appearance. Everybody saw him just dominate in the bubble, look like one of the best young stars in the entire NBA. And we went, okay, let's take a step back. Let's look at the profile of Tyler Herro coming into the NBA out of Kentucky. What did we think about him? What did the NBA teams think about him and where he went in the NBA draft? And should he be someone that is seeing a decent amount of volume? Should he be seeing a decent amount of shots every game? Which right now, he actually is kind of seeing that volume, where he is taking about 14 shots a game. But the problem is really, I mean, he is not getting to the free throw line at all. He's taking 14 shots a game, and he's averaging 2 free throw attempts a game. That is something you do not want, especially when Tyler Herro is supposed to be someone that is going to be putting up a very high free throw percentage because he's supposed to be someone with a ton of range, where if you're not getting to the line, you are missing out on such an easy way to make sure that you are just having that very high floor on your points every single night. And with Tyler Herro, yeah, I mean, he's knocking down the three ball. He's making 2 threes a game so far in 2020. And I know I just want to put this disclaimer out here before people get mad at me in the comment section. Yes, the Heat have had a very weird season. The Heat have been missing a significant amount of players. And at the same time, Tyler Herro has had to deal with COVID himself. So yeah, let's give the man a break. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I didn't like him coming into the year, but honestly, these numbers are kind of impressive if we are just looking at the overall context of what Tyler Herro had to deal with, where he's averaging 16 points a game and close to 6 rebounds. That's something I was not expecting from Tyler Herro. I was thinking that he was going to be down there in the 4 to 5 range. So the fact that he is pushing 6 rebounds a game is fantastic. And on top of that, Tyler Herro is giving you 3.5 assists. Also something that I was not expecting. I was expecting Tyler Herro to play a little bit more off ball, a little bit more of a catch and shoot type guy. But like I said, I mean, I was just wrong about Tyler Herro coming into the year, where yeah, he's severely disappointed owners who decided to make that significant investment into him in their fantasy basketball drafts this past offseason. But I think we can take a step back. We can go, you know what? He's 21 years old. I mean, the Heat have had to deal with some crazy things this year. I think that he's probably going to be able to turn his season around. Right now, he's ranked as the 124th player in value over replacement in category formats. If you're playing in a points league, that's a little bit better just because, I mean, his field goal percentage is down there at 43%. So yeah, Tyler Herro, if you're playing in a points league, I actually want to go out there, and while I didn't like him coming into the year, I think that he could be an intriguing trade target. All right, so now I know everybody wants to talk about one player in particular when we're talking about people that are 21, 20, and 19 years old. And this is going to be Zion Williamson, another guy I did not like coming into the year. And I was just flat out wrong with Zion. Where, yeah, I mean, if you drafted him in the category league right now, he's the 51st best player in terms of value over replacement. But a lot of people play in point leagues formats where Zion is going to be a lot higher than that for you, because we know Zion kind of gets tanked down in those category leagues, and that his free throw percentage is down there at 69%. And when you're getting to the line as frequently as Zion is, of course, that's going to really hurt your number there. And with Zion, we know he's going to be giving you no three-point production at all. And that's honestly something I didn't really even expect coming out of Duke. I thought Zion was going to be able to at least have a little bit of volume from there, but nothing has been there. And with Zion, what we have to acknowledge is we have to acknowledge the fact that he's pretty much played two different positions this season. The first half of the year, whenever I was coming out here and bragging, going, oh my God, look at me, I was so right, we faded Zion Williamson. He was playing the big five. He was playing the small ball five for the New Orleans Pelicans. He was a little bit more off ball, and he was just trying to get his opportunities where he saw them. But recently, they've changed it to point Zion. They've been giving Zion the ball at the top of the key, and they've been letting him run off screens. And if you just look at the monster of a man Zion is with his lateral quickness to go along with that, I mean, Zion has completely transitioned his game. Where if we go and look at his season-long numbers, he's averaging 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists. But what we need to talk about in particular with Zion Williamson is let's go through, let me pull up right now the past, let's call it 14 days. Let's not look at the entire season, because recently we know that they did decide to go out there and they decided to change that role with Zion. Okay, so let's pull up the past 14 days and try to find where Zion Williamson is in value over replacement, where he jumps up to 25th overall. And I know nobody's going to come out here and go, Mason, that's league winning, but still, it's going to be something that you have to get excited about when you're expecting the New Orleans Pelicans to continue to roll during the fantasy basketball playoffs. And when you've seen Zion Williamson change as that point guard, where now the points per game is bumped up to 27.5. The rebounds is up to 9. But most importantly, and something that I think we can project for the rest of the year, the assists are up to 5 assists a game, which is going to make a difference coming from that big man position. So yeah, Zion is someone that I just think that, yes, he lacks some stuff on the defensive side of the ball, but we are playing fantasy basketball. We are not trying to build a real-life NBA team. He's 20 years old. Literally, there's no ceiling for Zion Williamson. We've never seen a player like this. All right, so now our next player has been a major surprise for myself. I didn't like him in coming into the year with category leagues, and that's shown to be the right decision so far. But with RJ Barrett, if you're playing in a category league, it's completely different than a points format, because with RJ, the story here is volume. I mean, he's putting up 14 shots a game. He's getting to the free throw line, has 4 attempts a game at the same time. Just the problem is the efficiency isn't there. I mean, he is shooting 44% from the field and 73% from the free throw line. But if we go through and we change this to a points league setting and go, okay, I understand that RJ Barrett in a category format isn't going to be someone I want to invest into. But in a points league, can we say that's any different? And the answer to that is yes, because RJ Barrett in a points league is 44 spots higher in his value over replacement, and he's playing every single game. He is playing a ridiculous amount of minutes, and he is averaging 16.5 points a game. He's averaging 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Now, both those rebounds and those assist numbers are a little bit higher than I was expecting. We knew RJ Barrett could score the ball. My question was, can he do so efficiently? And the answer to that is no, but he's 20 years old. Let's cut the man some slack. And we are talking about point league formats right now where the efficiency doesn't even really matter. We are just talking about the volume, and he is seeing 33 minutes per game, and this number has actually came down from where it was at the very beginning of the year. We know that Tom Thibodeau just loves to go out there and give his starter players a ridiculous amount of minutes. And with RJ Barrett, he's 20 years old. I think that we are seeing him just start to develop his game right now. And another player, he's going to be playing back-to-backs. He's going to be playing pretty much everything. So I think that we are perfectly fine having him on the back half of our roster for the fantasy basketball playoffs. All right, so now our next player was someone that I was actually targeting coming into the year, and it really hasn't paid off. Ja Morant. And here with Ja Morant, I don't want to spend too much time talking about him because we did in the video yesterday. But with Ja, 20 points a game right now, 7.5 assists to go along with it. And clearly, anybody who can watch the game of basketball can sit here and say, hey, Ja Morant is a freak athlete. You look at some of the plays that he makes, especially in the open court, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. But on the other side of this, I think while Ja Morant can easily be, and I've said this so many times before, so we're going to keep it short, he can easily be the face of the NBA 5 years from now. I don't think anybody would be surprised to see that happen. Right now, currently, I just think that the build of Ja Morant himself is not going to be conducive for those fantasy basketball formats, regardless of if you're playing in a points league or a category league. The rebounds are down there at 3.5, and we know that's going to be so hard to get away from just because if you're going up against other guards like Luka, and Luka is going to have 9 rebounds a game, and I know Luka maybe not the best example just because he is a crazy outlier, but let's go and let's pull up someone like Jimmy Butler, who's going to be averaging 7.5, and I understand Jimmy Butler is a little bit more of a forward than a point guard, but still, Trae Young is averaging more rebounds a game than Ja Morant currently. So while Morant, has all the upside in the world, I think that right now his name value is probably a little bit higher than his fantasy value. So I'd be willing to see what we could get for him in trade. All right, so now the most exciting player to talk about, and embarrassingly, I told y'all to avoid him coming into the fantasy basketball season, is going to be LaMelo Ball. Over the past month, LaMelo has not only been elite for a rookie, he has been just elite overall for fantasy basketball formats. He is making 3 3-point shots a game, something that I did not expect at all. I did not expect to see him not only have the volume, but also the efficiency from beyond the arc. And he's averaging 21 points a game. He's averaging 6.5 rebounds and 6.5 assists. And we've talked about this a ton with LaMelo and how he profiles to be someone that you can expect a decent amount of steals from. So we're not going to dive into the explanation behind that. But 2 steals a game over the past month. And the efficiency is not bad for a rookie in the slightest. LaMelo Ball's 19 years old. What else would anybody want from a 19-year-old? I was listening to another podcast earlier today, and they were bringing up stats saying, hey, if you look at LaMelo's 3-point percentage, if you combine it with his points per game, his rebounds, and his assists per game, he is the only rookie to ever do that in NBA history. And if you then filter it out, just go, what players have done this over NBA history? It is very, very few. And the list is just Hall of Fame type players, and LaMelo is doing it at 19 years old. So yes, he has some things he needs to improve on with the defensive side of the ball. But for fantasy basketball formats, LaMelo Ball is literally an elite level asset. You need to be treating him the same, in my opinion, as someone like Fred VanVleet for those category formats. All right, so let's keep it with this 2021 rookie class, and let's go over to Sacramento and talk about Tyrese Haliburton, where over the past month, he's actually the 28th player in value over replacement across all players in terms of what he's bringing for you in a category format. He is ahead of some notable names like Rudy Gobert, DeJounte Murray. He's even ahead of Kawhi Leonard. Tyrese Haliburton for those category formats has been absolutely killing it. And I will say that if you play in a points league, maybe you don't want to go out there and make an aggressive offer for Tyrese Haliburton. But this Kings roster is a roster that maybe is going to make some moves at the deadline. Maybe it'll open up more minutes for Haliburton, who currently is averaging 32 minutes a game. I think that number could realistically bump up to 35, 36. And you look across the board, he's averaging 3 3-point shots made a game. He's shooting 52% from the field. And to go along with this, he has 17 points a game, 5.5 assists, and 2 steals. Tyrese Haliburton right up there with LaMelo Ball. He's only 21 years old, so he is a little bit older, but still, the upside is tremendous. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. Now, I just want to shout out Premiere Gang. Thank y'all all so much for coming out and hanging out with me during those premieres. And yeah, I'm going to continue to do that, and I hope to see y'all with the video tomorrow.